Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Soulfield Sunday. Nancy and I are so delighted to see you all popping in, see all your faces, to feel the community gathering. And for those of you who are joining us in the eternal now, we're welcoming you. We're so glad you're with us here in this sacred now moment.
Yes. As you're letting go of all your weeks and days and hours of whatever you're carrying, let's dive in together and let's light our candles. And as we're lighting our candles, let's call the Temple of Divine Perfection forward to hold everything that you want recycle or transform or held. And let's put everything over there. Let's just release everything you've been carrying so you can be fully present here with us in this moment. And as you're entering the soul field, feeling that embrace of the soul field, notice what are you bringing today to be shared, to be held, to be transformed. Notice what your intention is for today. And if it feels right, share in the chat so we can all support you. Mm.
So we'll begin with our opening prayer. Thank you for sharing in the chat. We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held within a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we actively invoke our unique pathways to source and the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations.
Con corazones abiertos, reverentes y llenos de gratitud, venimos a beber del profundo pozo de nuestra naturaleza eterna. Al sumergirnos juntos aquí en el campo del alma, somos envueltos en un abrazo sagrado por la fuente de todo amor, luz y gracia divina. En este ahora eterno, invocamos nuestros caminos hacia el Creador y hacia los seres de luz y amor que apoyan nuestra evolución divina. Permitimos que nuestro cuerpo, alma y espíritu se expandan hacia los reinos sagrados, donde la magia y los milagros ocurren constantemente. A medida que nos amamos a nosotros mismos y así amamos al prójimo y a toda nuestra familia humana, reconociendo que somos uno en la totalidad sagrada. Permitamos que todo lo que se haga aquí hoy repercute en nuestras vidas como un testimonio vivo de la gracia divina para el beneficio de todos. Mm. Mm. So good to see you all.
Mhm.
So beautiful to see you.
Mhm. We are continuing with the series that we've been with, um, which is about really taking refuge as a pathway of ministration. And today we're going to zoom in on what do we mean by the state of refuge. We've taken you through some of the 5 R's, 4 of them, and we'll touch that a little bit. But we're really talking today about What is it to be in refuge? And so we'll begin with our affirmations for this series and get that locked and loaded in our bodies.
Yes. Do I have the right one? No, this
You,
one. This one.
yes. Mhm.
Alrighty. So we'll tap the thymus area or rub our earlobes to activate all of the meridians and pathways of energy. And if you can repeat out loud, that would even be better.
Mhm.
I take refuge in the divine and lay my perceived burdens down.
I take refuge in the divine and lay my perceived burdens down.
I walk step by step in the divine embrace.
I walk step by step in the divine embrace.
Every day I open and receive even more grace and sacred soothing.
Every day I open and receive even more grace and sacred soothing.
All holiness comes to me as me and emanates through me for the benefit of all life.
All holiness comes to me as me and emanates through me for the benefit of all life.
Two more times. I take refuge in the divine and lay my perceived burdens down.
I take refuge in the divine and lay my perceived burdens down.
I walk step by step in the divine embrace.
I walk step by step in the divine embrace.
Every day I open and receive even more grace and sacred soothing.
Every day I open and receive even more grace and sacred soothing.
All holiness comes to me as me and emanates through me for the benefit of all life.
All holiness comes to me as me and emanates through me for the benefit of all life.
And one more time. I take refuge in the divine
Uh,
and lay my perceived burdens down.
I take refuge in the divine and lay my perceived burdens down.
I walk step by step in the divine embrace.
I walk step by step in the divine embrace.
Every day I open and receive even more grace and sacred soothing.
Every day I open and receive even more grace and sacred soothing.
All holiness comes to me as me and emanates through me for the benefit of all life.
All holiness comes to me as me and emanates through me for the benefit of all life.
Hmm. Yes. That's right.
Yeah, really just loving seeing what everyone's putting in the comments, what they're bringing, what's here, and just really holding that in this space as we're in the process of really talking about what it is to be in a state of refuge, in a state of being within the divine embrace.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking about the 5 R's. And Nance, would you put those up for just a brief moment?
Yeah.
Thank you.
5 hours
5 R's coming up.
coming up.
And so we've gone through together in this series so far, the first 4 of these recognize where we're noticing our stress, our distress, our suppression, our emotional imbalance, where we're resting, we're relaxing into the divine, where we're actually releasing our burdens, we're setting our perceived burdens down, and where we're intentionally receiving the flow of grace. And these first 4 R's, and we can take that down when you get a chance, Dance, there's no rush. These first 4 R's are really the steps, those steps to refuge, to the state of being that is what we call, Nancy and I call refuge. And this is about where we have fully activated our receiving and we're in a deep spiritual opening. We're sort of in this world so used to operating from depletion. It's sort of our cultural norm that we operate from depletion, that we almost don't know sometimes what it is to be full of grace, what it feels like to be living from that space.
Yes. So through the 5 R's, this is sort of like a technique that you can use in your daily life. Um, Whenever something triggers you, you can notice, oh, I'm feeling this stress. And the idea is not to suppress it or numb it or, distract ourselves, but like really sit with it. And as we're sitting with it, we're relaxing into knowing that the divine holds us, that there is a higher plan, that we are held, and that everything is turning out perfectly, right? And so we have so many constructs in our lives and ways of interpreting life that sometimes we interpret a situation in a way that is not the accurate way, right? And so part of the next R is releasing the burdens, releasing the concepts, releasing all of that, and then truly receiving. Okay, what do you have for me? Right? Bring me what you have for me. I'm open. And that's a lot of surrendering, allowing yourself to feel that grace. And once you feel that grace and you can feel the abundance, that's when you can spread it to the world, right? That's when you can just like send that out when you're filled yourself up. We often think that we have to please everybody else before we please ourselves, that we have to honor somebody else or take care of somebody else's needs before we take our own, or else we're selfish, right? But this is not how it works. You actually have to give to yourself first, recognize the divine in you first before you can spread it out and give it to others.
When we're in that state of refuge, when we're really rested and relaxed and released and in receptivity, there there is sort of this opening into a more spherical holistic consciousness, and there are these distinct things that we can notice in the body. Our heart is soft, it's radiant, it's illuminated. Natural compassion arises. We have gratitude that's just present without efforting. We just find ourselves being thankful for life or for this moment or for that beauty. And the throat center is open, and we have the experience of life is happening for me. And we can see, like, oh, I see why that thing didn't go that way, because that's for this and that's for this. And there's this like space of life is for me. And we have in that openness, we have sometimes the experience of what we can call beauty tears arising, where we just find ourselves moved by the beauty of life, by the beauty of soul. We have the experience of our mind when we're in refuge is sort of open and receptive. It's perceiving the sacred, it's not thinking. And so in this place, we can have mental clarity that arises, not because we've efforted to get there, but because in that state of refuge, in that openness, the soul light comes forward and it illuminates and brings consciousness to the mind. So we have what we call solutions that come online, or messages, or ways of knowing that just arise. We weren't trying to figure something out, and all of a sudden we just know something about ourselves or our life or our loved ones, right? And so these are the qualities that show up for us naturally when we're truly sitting in the state of refuge that we've, walked you through in those steps. And it's a smoothing of the sort of more bouncy, hubbubby energy of life, of the mental field. It's this like longer, wider amplitudes. We can think of that, like more space, but the vibration is very strong. There's strength to it, right?
Yeah. When I remember one time, I don't know how it happened, but I felt so much love for the world. I mean, every day I was driving by this homeless guy and I'm like, whatever, I'm not gonna give you money, blah, blah. But this day I was in such love for life that I felt the compassion for the homeless guy. I felt the joy for the homeless guy. I felt the joy for the people cutting in front of me in this traffic. I felt this like amazing feeling of bliss. And I was like, can we bottle this? And like, can we have it for a long
Five
period?
R's.
Yes. And this feeling, it was so impactful for me that to this day, that happened maybe like 10 years ago or something like that, but it was so impactful that I remember to this day that expression. And that's something that I try to look forward to experiencing more and more, regardless of what's happening in my environment, right? Because when I'm in that state, all of my negative insecurities, preconceived notions, they all go away. And all I see is possibilities.
Yeah.
All I see is the beauty of life. All I see is like, oh, wow, I was so closed that I wasn't able to see that opportunity or what the universe has for me. Like, wow. Um, so what we're trying to cultivate is that space where we can at least consistently, and it's not always, of course, but at least consistently we can be in that space of communion with the divine, of the constant receiving. It's like the being that space of refuge, where everything is good and sacred and open opportunities.
Yeah, and now with the 5 R's, especially those first four, you can really, we're sort of trying to operationalize, really make it concrete what it is to enter into that state. Because the thing is, refuge in the soul field is different. It includes things like breath, it includes things like meditation, but taking refuge is about purposefully linking ourselves into the field of soul, into the place of our eternal nature. We are directly and purposefully going like, there is a source of my eternal light, and I am connected with it and in sacred relationship with it. I have the kind of relationship with this part that I can say, here's what I'm bringing. I'm so upset. Just like we type in the chat thread what we're bringing for the day, we do that in that space. We are cultivating sacred relationship and what we would call sacred partnership. And when we do that, we actually know through these great scientific things that are happening with functional MRIs and things like that on the brain, that like A, we're wired for that. And B, when we do that, we are actually at the level of our physiology, like the structures in our brain change, and we are actually healthier, more vibrant humans. So
Yeah.
the refuge is beyond a breathwork practice. The refuge is beyond a meditation that is about quieting the mind. This includes those things, but it's about that linking. And so we're taking the resources there when we do that, when we plug into our eternal nature, we have the resources that support the whole of our incarnation. When we're plugged in there, we go backwards and forwards in time, and we bring that grace to the whole timeline of our existence because we're accessing the eternal nature when we access the field of soul.
Yes.
Right?
And in the resonance of you being in that state of refuge is so powerful that you're just vibrating goodness the entire time, and everything that matches that vibration comes your way. It's sort of like a radio station. You tune in into whatever channel you want, right? If you want to tune into the channel of abundance, love, let me see, trusting the unknown, loving yourself, releasing shame, feeling fulfillment, divine power, trust in the divine. If you want to tune in into those things, following this 5 hours is really, really helpful. And also understanding the subtlety of those vibrational aspects, right? The subtlety of how your mind interferes, the subtlety of how your environment may interfere, but also the power that you have to change that. to unplug yourself from this other radio stations to the one that is transmitting the right information. And it's not easy because again, we're trained to please others. We're trained to work in this 3D world. And so to be able to be in the refuge space consistently requires that you have a practice, like for example, coming to this events, doing your meditation, also the breath work, maybe dancing, hula hoop or anything that gets you in that space of communion, with the divine and receiving the grace.
Yeah, and as Nancy's talking about, and I was saying it's more than this, it's more than that. You can do the refuge no matter where you are, right? The refuge piece is that we recognize we need sacred support. We relax into that embrace. We release whatever's in the way. We let the burdens be known. And in that moment, we are able to receive the grace that supports us. And so you could be hula hooping, or you could be walking down the street, you could be sitting in a conversation in, the boardroom, or you could be doing any activity, brushing your teeth. I love to commune with the divine when I'm taking a bath. Like whatever it is, it can be its own thing. But what ultimately we want is that not that there's this sort of fleeting experience of moments of refuge, but then more and more and more that we practice and remember to take refuge, that our life begins to be an experience of taking refuge in the divine. And when we do that, as Nancy said, that's where miracles and magic, as we say in our prayer, are commonplace. When we reside in the soul field, that is where the miracles start to happen. And the beauty arises stronger and stronger and stronger for us.
Yes. And then we can spread it.
Mm-hmm.
Then everywhere we go, we're just vibrating this energy where doors open up easily. People smile at us. We also are changing people's lives. We are saying like, hi, and we illuminate other people. We show up in a circle with this authentic energy and we can transform no matter what other people are saying or what they're talking about. We can influence the circle. We can influence our environment with this goodness. Even the plants, the animals, everything, nature, we have this incredible, potent energy that we can radiate and circulate.
Mm-hmm.
All this love we can share, all this compassion we can share.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes from that space of fulfillment first. Yeah.
Yeah, so the knowing that we can take refuge, and then, the experience of really making a point to let that be conscious in our awareness. So the issue for us usually is that we forget, especially when things are stressful. We actually forget to take refuge in the divine. We forget to plug in to the place where our greatest resource lies. And sometimes we can't easily get there. Sometimes we're agitated in a way that it's hard. We need community. We need a guided meditation. We we may need some, vibrant blue oils, parasympathetic. We may need some rescue remedy. Like we may need some things to support us in getting there sometimes. But the remembering is often the hardest place. Like that's our biggest hurdle, is to remember to take refuge. And so the beauty of coming here is that it's a reminder, it's a solid reminder, and you're in community with one another. And in that space of community, we amplify what's available. The divine grace is amplified there. And so the refuge is even bigger and deeper and wider when we're in community with one another.
Yes. So I put on the chat the 5 R's. You can actually download it or screenshot it and have it on your phone to remind you, to say, okay, I have to remember, how am I feeling? What's happening with me? I'm feeling triggered. I'm activated. Okay, what do I need to do? I need to rest in the divine. I need to trust and surrender. What do I need to do next? Release, set the perceived burdens down. And then what's the next step? Receiving, allowing that abundant grace to nourish me. And then what do I do? Radiate it to the rest of the world. So just keep it close to you. It's like a five quick steps to go over
Yeah.
and reconnect you. A lot of people ask, like, I just feel so disconnected. How do I reconnect? And so this is a quick way to experience that.
Someone wrote in the chat, just sort of amplifying that sentence, life becomes an experience of being refuged in the divine. And that's really what we want for all of you. It's what we want for ourselves too, right? And so we are going to shift into meditation next week. Next time we meet, 2 weeks from now, we're going to get into what it is to be radiant and how to really radiate. We know we've only deeply gone into the first 4 hours, but we wanted to pause and really get this state of refuge and understand that it's a state of being. Refuge in the divine is a state of being, meaning it's visceral. The molecules and the biospiritual system and there's like anatomy of it. One of the anatomies of refuge in the divine we've taken you through in previous soul fields, which is that back aspect of the sacral center that just opens to just receive grace. There's so much grace in the soul field coming at that back aspect of the sacral center. And there are other things we worked last time. We're going to work a little bit of it today about, like, what are we doing with our umbilical cord? Where's our energy plugging in? And, so some basic things that we know from other things, will be grounded, have a grounding root, right? Breathe into your heart. There's an anatomy of refuge. And the more pieces of consciousness that we hold about what is the visceral experience of refuge, the more we can invoke that state with ease, because we have these anchor points that we're like, oh yeah, that thing. Oh yeah, that thing. Oh, I remember we did that. That really helped. Let me bring that online. And so, for example, even as I'm sharing these things and I'm wondering, I'd love to hear in the chat what's happening. I'm already feeling the anatomy get activated in my body. I already feel these things opening up because we're designed for this. Like, this is the thing. Like, we are literally designed for this. These biospiritual systems are designed for us to be living in refuge. That's our true nature. That's the sacred divine design. Yeah.
So get yourself comfortable. You can lay down or sit up or however you want, and just be ready to
We're getting
receive. I know
excited.
some of you are excited already to receive. Um, Allow your whole being to relax and surrender into the receiving of this information. And if you are walking and listening, that's totally fine too. You're in communion with nature and your body. You're very embodied right now. So allow yourself to just be present here and now. Release all of your burdens. And as you're connecting to your body, to this moment, notice your breath. Notice the sensations in your body. And there's no judgment or attachment, just notice. There's no good or bad, it just is. And bring your entire awareness into the center, the core of your body. And imagine a cord that goes from the center of your body all the way down into the earth, anchoring you. Sort of like a kite, so you can float around. It keeps you anchored into this moment. That you can always come back to this moment, to this cord. It's like a leash to bring you back home when you need it, if you want to. As you let your body anchor and your mind release, let yourself explore, expand, drift.
And as you find yourself in this sort of flowing, expansive, drifting way, feel yourself being drawn to that sacred crystalline pond that is your place of refuge, your unique, special, sacred space in the etheric realm. And feel how, as you begin to approach that place, the molecules in the body, they begin to shift. The base of the skull and the back of the neck might begin to tingle a little. The breath might deepen into the lower belly. You begin to feel a different kind of stillness in this sacred space. And as you feel that sacred stillness, you begin to realize what you've been carrying more fully. You sense the hubbub that's been with you, the worry, the emotional stirring. And you take a breath as you notice that, and you register the contrast of this beautiful crystalline pond with the amniotic fluid of life for your life, present, vibrating, sparkling. And you begin to relax even more. Let the body sink into the ground there. Perhaps there's soft, moist moss or very nice grass, a beautiful log to lay on, a boulder that's warmed in the sun to spread your body out on. but you begin to relax even more into that sacred space, this place you've traveled to in your consciousness. And as you feel the back of the neck and the head opening more and more, perhaps getting heavy, feel yourself speaking aloud if you're in a space where you can do that, or in a prayer-like fashion, speaking aloud into this sacred space of witnessing what you've been carrying. You can feel that this space that you're in, this crystalline pond area, is alive and it's with you, and it's listening. And you speak what your worries are, what your stresses are. And you imagine yourself laying them down, like you're literally taking them off your shoulders, or out of your heart or belly, or out of your mind, and just placing them in the water. And that water uses whatever those things are to create new life, more nourishment. And you can see it, the water starts sparkling even more as you lay your burdens down. And you begin to feel an even deeper sense of letting go. And like your body can open up, every cell can open up and start to draw in even more of the sacred light and beauty and nourishment of this place. And as you're receiving, you begin to register more fully that so much of your perceived burdens are not even really personal to you. They're part of your culture, they're part of your ancestry. And so, with love and respect, you intend to receive the gifts, the life-giving energy of our culture, of your lineage. And then you intentionally unplug that energetic tie that comes from your umbilicus. You unplug it. And as you unplug it, you draw whatever that energy is that's yours back into the belly. And you allow what isn't yours to fade away. And as you breathe in, that energy starts to move into the internal channel, the internal structure that runs from crown to root, the Sushumna, the central channel. And you feel a stream of energy running up the central channel from the umbilicus to the very top of the head. And it moves out the top of the head. And it keeps going until it plugs in to the perfect place, linking you with your eternal light, wisdom. It's like click and you feel it happen. And as it does, this stream of energy starts coming down through that energetic umbilicus into the body. Grace is flowing like a river, washing over you and through you. And it's this beautiful light. And somewhere in that beautiful light is the silver light, the flame of your divine magnificence, and the gold light, the flame of divine perfection. And these energies move into you through that umbilicus, and they begin to flow out the belly button and sort of swirl in these gentle but beautiful ways around and through your body and energy field. Like this cocoon of light, clarifying, beautiful, nurturing, nourishing light. And if you haven't already and it feels good for you, you can let yourself enter into the pond that's there for you. The amniotic fluid of creation. And allow yourself to be bathed, to be recreated, to be filled. And you can feel this viscerally, this filling of grace. The flows of energy through the body, the flows of energy through the centers in the biofield. Felt sense of grace. And you let that receptivity open into the places that need it most. Places where you know you get edgy or closed. Places that have been injured or wounded, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Each breath is a deeper receiving. And as you continue to receive, you can receive our song for this series to support you.
This is the sound of one heart starting to heal. This is the sound of faith stepping out of fear. Oh, the journey of one soul's passage through time. And oh, this is one lone dream learning to fly. calling all the children together as one. I can see us there, see it clear as the blue. And oh, this is one small part. Here is my gift to you. And your love, every moment of my shadows, every movement, in everything I do. And I hear you every time it's calling for me. I know that you are here. So all roads lead to your love. Every moment of my shadows, every movement, in everything I do. And I hear you every time I calling for me. I know that you are here with me. It's all roads lead, all roads lead, all roads lead. So count the hilltops, count the towns as we're crossing over. See no, hear no, speak no sound. On this golden flame.
As you're making your way back, we'll pause the recording so we can have a little time to connect with one another.
Yes. Mm.
I'd like to highlight for those watching in the eternal now, the experience someone had of just like feeling radiance arise and really wanting to underscore and underline that refuge is really the first step to being someone who ministers to others, right? And this is the step that we often culturally have let go of. We forget that the first step is to take refuge in the divine. And if we look at any sacred text from any beings that have walked this earth and been a source of enormous ministration, their foundation is always refuge in that connection in the soul field, in the connection to their eternal nature, to the eternal source of wisdom that may have different names for different people, but is one sacred source. Yeah.
Yes. So as we're wrapping up, just a reminder that our website is soulfield.org, and you'll find links to the recordings. So you can always come back, go to any of the YouTube recordings, and you can have a little bit of meditation, have a little bit of inspiration to keep you connected into the refuge moment. And please share and like and comment so more people can get a hold of this information and this magic that we're trying to share. On our website, you'll find all of our links to social media and the calendar also. So sign up if you're not part of the our mailing list. Sign up so you can receive any upcoming updates or events, etc. And thank you for those that are donating to make this possible. Thank you. We see you and we appreciate you. Really, thank you for that. Your tithing makes this happen and helped us pay for the Zoom and the contacts and all the stuff that we need to pay. And also, a portion of this is donated to those that need it. So if that is you who need it, please reach out individually to either of us, and we'll be happy to help you out. Give it back to the community. Our next event is the meditation. The meditation is the first Wednesday and third Wednesday of the month. So the next one is going to be the 20th. And the next Soul Field will be in 2 weeks, the 24th. And we're excited to see you there.
That we will end with our closing prayer. We are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels, guides, and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we've co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings.
Estamos profundamente agradecidos de haber vivenciado esta comunión de nuestros seres sagrados en el campo del alma. De todo corazón recibimos la elevación del sacramento de cada uno de nosotros y de nuestra bendecida luz del alma. Al culminar esta congregación, cada uno de nosotros, de manera propia, continuaremos conviviendo en el campo del alma, apoyando nuestra evolución colectiva. Con profunda gratitud, damos gracias el uno al otro y a nuestros ancestros, ángeles, guías y guardianes de luz, recordando que cuando nos amamos a nosotros mismos, amamos y elevamos al prójimo, alentando la magia que acabamos de co-crear para que se expanda a nuestras comunidades de manera de que todos los seres se beneficien. So we'll blow out our candles and close the circle, but remember that the Temple of Divine Perfection is there for you at any time if you need it. Thank you for joining
You
us.
can continue taking refuge, even when we're not together, in this sacred community that will be a pathway. And so just plug into the soul field regularly. Come back and do the meditations, as Nancy said. Like, this is really what we want for all of you, to be in the state of living in refuge, in that space where grace is filling you constantly, and therefore you are a radiant being that walks this earth, illuminating others, reminding others. And so until we see you again,
Bye, everybody.
Mwah.